What is up, everybody? Keith Jamison, aka Gator Guy 231. I'm here with Tim Knotts, TK Nation. What is up, Tim?
Not much. Ready for a new week, fresh start.
Yeah, so let's get off the part of you. So Tim messages me. He's like, "Man, like I feel so bad about last week, right?"
Yeah, wasn't my best week.
I said, Tim, don't apologize to the people. Apologize to your wallet because we both got smoked.
We did.
Yeah,
I'm not going to be looking at that one anytime
after
soon.
a break, if you look at, because I made 20 lineups, which I'm like a 2 to 3 lineup guy. I was so excited, and I put one into the money. It's awesome.
Yeah,
and
we're on the same page with that one.
when you're that bad, you can only go up.
Yep.
So with that amazing intro, everybody, if you're still wanting to listen to some picks, we're going to jump right into it. So once again, Tim's the head of PGA content here at FSI. So Tim, I'm going to kick it to you. Why don't you talk to us a little bit about the course and tournament this week, and kind of what we're going to look for stats.
Right now we have this week we're at Harbour Town, South Carolina, Hilton Head, South Carolina for Harbour Town. It's bumped up from 130 players to 155 players. 7,099 yard par 71. Pete Dye, Jack Nicklaus course with Bermuda greens. It's a coastal course, so windy conditions can play factors for some of these golfers. 4 par 3s and 3 par 5s. So a lot of emphasis on proximity yardage this week that we're going to look into. We have 2 par 5s that are gettable, so we have some eagle opportunities for good scoring if the conditions for the wind stay low. Another thing, like Colonial last week, we have tiny greens, so we're going to be looking into who has the best strokes gains approach and strokes gained around the green. So if they don't hit the greens, are they able to get up and down? Are they able to still score? And one thing this week is we have some wider fairways, but these fairways are part of a strategy that you have to play as a golfer to be playing on one side to get to the hole better than you would be playing from the other side. If you were in the rough on one side, you might be able to be in a better lie than you would be ducked around a dog leg and have to play 2 shots to the green instead of 1. Yep. I think that's a pretty solid breakdown of the course. Anything to add, Keith?
No, I mean, I think you hit on a lot of reasons, and kind of if you watched it last year, why DJ, just completely, blew up in the final round. He was just controlling his driver, controlling everything all day. But like a great player like DJ, he just gets a little off, and 77. So I mean, I think that kind of talks about this course in general, like how bombers can do well. Like we're not going to discount bombers by any means, but you just start getting off a little bit, and these type of courses can kick your butt.
Right. Yeah. Precision again this week over distance, I would say. Not a lot of drivers in the bag again, but last week, like we saw and like you alluded to, these bombers, they can get out in front of the course before they know it. They're hitting 330 past wherever, further than the dog leg, and they're usually wedge it in.
They can get dialed in. They can go low. It's just, all of a sudden though, they just get undialed for a minute and it can blow up.
Yeah.
So we're going to do things a little different this week. We're going to actually TK and I are just going to give a top play from each salary tier. So we're going to start in the top range, go down to 9 to 10, 8 to 9. We're going to do one play. It does not mean that there's not other great plays. Personally for me in that 8 to 10 range, I would love to just stack my entire lineup because DK did do a really soft process.
Very soft pricing, yeah.
But, this will give us some, let us get kind of out of here early, not to get too wordy. And then we're going to do one and done. The great news, PK, we're both done with one and done.
Yeah. No calculating needed.
0-2 last week. Like I said, you guys that are still listening, congratulations. But we do better this week. I'm pumped. I'm pumped to be sweating all weekend, not turning off my app. So let's just jump right into it. So I'm going to let you start off in the stud range, the 10K and up. I don't think you can actually go wrong with anybody, but who's your favorite?
So I'm going to go with JT. It seems to be a popular pick up top. Rory, I'm trying to think back. Did you use JT or was I using?
No. Mine's good.
You did Bryson. That's right. All right. Rory.
Don't ruin it.
I thought for a second I messed up. Rory last week had an abysmal Sunday, so I'm I'm sure his ownership's going to be really low. So everyone's popular pick this week is JT because he's got 11th in 2015 on this course. He was 4th in strokes gained approach in the last 50, 4th in ball striking, and last week he gained 7 strokes approach. I mean, the guy's dialed in with his irons still from in the last 50 and last week. So I'm going to take that approach game of JT this week at the top because it's a safer pick than Rory, who, you know, it wasn't as hot with his irons, but he lost 1.3 strokes putting last week.
Yeah, and I think you make a good point even with like Rory. I always just question somebody like him that, you know, has made it known that majors are like his focus.
Yeah.
When we get into these smaller events, I don't like love, you know, locking in on those type of guys as much. And JT, let's just be real. JT's fun as hell to roster because you never know
if
60's coming.
Yeah, that's his thing with JT. Like he may start with a couple bogeys on the front 9, but you know, in the last 5 holes, he can birdie out and just he's a thrill ride for sure.
and you know, if he's not, you know, you get a bomber with him too. You get a bomber that also has a great iron game. So
he to me he's more complete than some of the golfers up here in this range that have struggled around the greens and on.
Thank you for that segue because Bryson Urlacher.
Yeah,
for the Bears, but because the NFL's in off season, he's getting to play in the PGA events.
I must have missed Brian Urlacher's cousin made it on tour. That guy's a tank. Jesus. Oh my God.
I didn't play as much of him as I wanted to last week. I brought him up as one of my top studs, and the reason was because, you know, he's just kind of a geek in the sense of he's in the lab just working. I didn't know he was working out. I thought he was working out his irons and his spin rates, but he's also pumping tons of iron while doing it. But
he is gaining strokes off the tee at alarming rates, setting records.
Like, so one of the biggest reasons I like him is he's kind of just showing how committed he is at this point, like to another level. You know, somebody
it is good to see.
Rust off, and Bryson's, you know, I think I saw on Twitter he was like making fun of some other guys to like bulk up to him. But so Bryson's history here is actually pretty good too. I mean, it's volatile. So history-wise, he has 2 missed cuts, but he also has a 3rd and a 4th. And that 4th, I believe, that was in 16 when he had just had like the top 10 in the Masters. So Bryson's totally a guy that, you know, you kind of just want to ride him when he's going. Saw some of the videos of him just pumping out those drives. And we also know that he has no problem just clubbing down. You know, he has those shorter, long irons that are a lot more accurate than some of these other guys. So I think he just fits a lot of bills. And then the good news I saw, like in your ranking, in your model and everything, he might come in a lot lower owned with like the ownership on JT, you know, with people going, we're up here. Why am I, you know, not playing Xander and all these other guys that are like great models? Well, so we could get an under-owned Bryson. So that's where I'm going.
Yeah. Real quick on the last for the 10K range, Xander and Morikawa battled to the end last week, and people are going to play them. So like I said, the ownership up top is going to get a little bit pinched because the balance builds are in premium this week with not a lot of pickings between the 6K range. Yep. So you could, like I said, you could see, and nobody's going to own Rahm. So if you're looking for a real super low and GPP pivot to everyone up top, Rahm would be your pick. He can win at courses that he hasn't played at. So you saw that with the what was that, the Career Builder, I think he won at Torrey Pines.
This is just like the type of course. So he's gonna win now because I'm about to curse him. But this is like the type of course where I get really worried about his type that just like wears their emotions way too much on their sleeves. That like if he starts getting crooked, I don't know.
Yeah.
So
he's a fade for me though. He is, but I'm just saying.
I'm gonna start us off, and I'm gonna go right back to the tilt well with some Webb Simpson.
You have to. Good pick.
Yeah, I mean, so look at those last 2 logs. Maybe that will actually help us get some ownership off of him. But
people are furious at Webb, so I could see a little bit off of Webb, but not an entire fade from the community.
No.
Maybe around 15, 20.
And let's be real, though, too. Like, so cash games, people in cash are the sharper players, and they're going to be relying on models where he's just popping the hell out of because stat-wise and course history-wise and just everything that you want, fit everything. Webb fits yet again. 16th, 5th, and 11th, the last 3 appearances. And then, when I'm looking at the model statistics for proximity from 125 to 150, where a lot of these shots are going to be played, he's fifth. Par 4 scoring, 400 to 450. If you look through tons of these par 4s that way, he's first. So the strokes gained approach, fifth. So the stats that we're really wanting to have good, Webb is pretty much the top on everybody. He's going to be the top on a lot of models. And I think honestly, TK, when we look at cash games, he might be the top owned player.
Yeah, probably rounds that out again as the top owned player at just 9K. It's good on DraftKings to lower his salary this week, but I personally was hoping he would come in higher so people would stay away and I could maybe get something lower, but they dropped him straight to 9K. He's going to go right back to being the chalk.
And in GPPs, though, you might see people that shy away. And
he only had a ban round 1. I mean, it was just round 1.
Yeah, and I think he just kind of lost on the back nine when he realized he's going to miss the cut.
Right.
All right, 9K for you. Who you got?
I'm going Sungjae M.
Oh, I'm surprised. Talk to me more.
Sungjae M has no history here, but Sungjae is a week in, week out warrior. I love his game. People are starting to call him the Korean Hideki Matsuyama, like the Hideki bot.
He's more expensive. Yeah. Hideki has to be pissed.
Yeah, I mean, Sungjae is 23rd in ball striking in the last 50, 19th in tee to green, and 14th in putting. What I like about Sungjae is he's balanced. He has like a complete game. Nothing really sticks out above the rest, but it's so funky because his irons could be off, but then everything around the green and on the green is going. And then, maybe he can't chip today, but he's sinking everything from 5 to 10 feet.
That's a score, man.
He just battles week in and week out. He's a very safe play up here at the top of the 9K range. So I'm going Sungjae, and I think my cash lineup is going to start with Sungjae M.
And I'm going to be honest with you. I think while we have so much focus on golf with no NBA and none of the big sports, let's be real, not a lot of people are flocking to soccer with me. Someday, Tim, someday. But
I don't know why they won't. I mean,
somebody's going to look at the likes of Rose or the logs of Morikawa or Xander and pick Sungjae in the middle. I think he might go overlooked. So I think that's really sharp. All right. Down into the 8K range, which is just, pardon my French, folks, fucking loaded.
Oh, so loaded.
Absolutely stacked. You could make a full lineup and just fill as much of it here and go, how the hell did I fit this?
That's going to be the popular play this week. People are going to pick a 9K guy and they're going to load up in this 8K range.
And for good reason. So I think So I'm Mr. Chalk today, but I think if Webb Simpson isn't the most popular play on the slate, I think Matt Kuchar will be. So
horse, yes.
Tim's one and done last week, so he'll never use that sweet smile from Mr. Kuchar.
No, I should have saved him for the Masters.
But all right, so let's talk about you mentioned course horse, so let's talk about it. Kuchar, the last 5 starts, 2nd, 23rd, 11th, 9th, and 5th. And why? Because this is a proximity course. This is an accuracy.
Yep.
This is the type of course that just fits Kuchar's eye. And it's kind of in that – it's where he's from. Kuchar's a Georgia boy. This is South Carolina, right?
Yeah, South Carolina, correct.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's the same type of golf. It's very, very similar types of greens and conditions, so he fits it well. I would assume he's just pissed off as hell because he fit really well last week too.
He did.
Missed it by 1. Wasn't cut.
Missed one. He missed it by 1, and he was battling down the stretch to try and make the cut.
So it wasn't necessarily like he played bad. One shot here and there, and hell, he could have put it on the weekend. So I'm not really worried. Just talking about some of the stats: strokes gained approach 15th, proximity from 125 to 150. In the 30s, I can't read my own handwriting. It's either 32 or 30. I don't know. But par 4s from 400 to 450, he's number 2. So you can see that was a stat that I really wanted to hone in on, was the par 4 scoring.
Yeah, proximities was a big part of the research this week.
Yep. So I just think that especially for like a cash horse and at 8,300, I'm good. I'll just click and go.
Yeah, you click and go with Kuchar, especially when he's on Pete Dye courses. He's a Pete Dye specialist.
But I'll just make this notice, especially for GPPs, just realizing that the likes of like Woodland and Finau from just like a pure upside, I think Kuchar can win this. So maybe this is a bad take, but with that chalk, just if you're just looking at those two right away, I'll take those any day. Or freaking DJ at 8,500. It's crazy. So
Yeah, DJ is going to be interesting this week. I'm not sure how the community is going to go about playing him. He's in like the worst form I've seen DJ be in, like in his entire career since he was, a rookie on tour.
Which
he's
honestly,
just
probably just sets us up for him to like lap the
it's
field.
right. Like I think what we're going to find is DJ's going to just break it out, just come back. And I don't know if it's here because
he's gone after the first round.
Yeah, right. Because he played bad in that little charity event too, and then backed that bad outing out with the performance he had last week. So I'm still going to be cautious on someone like Dustin Johnson. You were alluding to Woodland, which is going to be my pick here in the 8K range. He hasn't played this course since 2014 or 13. He missed the cut, but he gained over 8 strokes on approach last week. I mean, if somebody's going to gain that many strokes on the approach, I'm going to take them the next week they play on a course that is perfect for Gary Woodland, another coastal course with tiny greens. I said it last week too, the tiny greens correlation between Pebble Beach and Colonial. It's the same thing for Hilton Head. So I'm going to go right back to the well with Gary Woodland on another course where he takes the driver out of his hand. He stays in his proximities, and the approach and putt just like he does on these tiny greens. I love it. Gary Woodland, 8.4.
I dig it. All right. And then just understand everybody else in this range very in play.
yeah. Like Spieth, there's guys Spieth, Reed. I mean, Spieth's looks like he's trying to get a renaissance going. Yeah.
The Spieth putting stats last week were insane.
Yeah, nothing under 5 and everything over 15.
I mean, that's just the kind of game he's at right now. Well, I have to watch too much, but from what I was like reading, he still is kind of struggling off the tee, and so.
What last shout real quick for my POC on the Yahoo or on the golf Discord, John.
Mm-hmm.
He likes Terrell Hatton a lot this week, so I had to get he was the Arnold Palmer Invitational champ. He's one of his top DK plays this week. He's been talking him up and down. A lot of people are going to go back to Answer and this loaded top of the lower 8K top. And
I would say just like I'm by no means go as deep as you or John do, but just the fact from like a amateur perspective that Ricky Fowler is sitting right here at 8,100.
Perfect example. Yeah.
I just think that I don't think you see Tyrell Hatton. Let's talk about 7K range. I'll go first. So I'm going. When I hear proximity courses and I hear short courses, and then I went back to history and saw that it all matches up, I love Ian Poulter. I just think that's, again, like I talked last week and I talked this week again too, just about these guys that there's some events they show up to and they just know they can't win. And then all of a sudden the course shortens, and especially somebody like, we know Poulter's competitiveness back in like the Ryder Cup. Like that's what you want.
I love Ian Poulter. He's one of my favorite players. Yeah.
Pumping, and I'm just like, oh, get off my TV. But
I love it though.
But when we're in DFS, I want that type of guy, especially if he's in contention. So I don't have the stats on him. I can barely read my handwriting. But if we go to course history for Poulter, 10th, 7th, 11th, the last 3, 54th, and then 18. Remember, for those that don't know Ian Poulter, this has been Poulter's career. Starts out like a stud, earth, come back. Especially when you watch him swing, you can kind of understand it. But
you're gonna get that same roller coaster ride when you watch him putt too. So
but when he's rolling it, you like watch out for the leader.
Here's the thing: Bermuda greens. We're back on Bermuda greens, and that's the Florida green. Yeah, so that's perfect. I love it.
So that's my guy in this range. Who you got?
I'm going Kevin Kisner. He is a South Carolina native. He lost in a playoff in 2015. Last week he was all rounds under 70. A couple top 10s here at Harbour Town. Kisner's another plotters. He's a precision golfer rather than distance. He shows up on big, strong fields too. So for your betting guys out there, long shot odds on Kisner. I don't know what they are, but I've seen him win a WGC match play event, and I've seen him back that up and win another WGC. I think he has 2
did
WGCs.
he win the Players, or did he like fall apart? He got like a second in the Players.
I'm not positive he's done anything in the Players. I know he won the match play event, and I'm pretty positive he won another WGC. I like him in big, strong fields in the lower 7 in that 7K range.
Yep. No, I agree. So final pick, we're gonna go 7K or under because I didn't want to go.
Yeah, we had to address the Luke Donald situation.
So let's address Luke Donald.
Take it away.
Since I'm Mr. Course History, so it used to be in fantasy golf when we got to Harbour Town, you just click Luke Donald's name and go away. I think he's gonna be a 30 for 30 TK.
It has to be.
No. You're not even ready for this. Did you know that Luke Donald was once the #1 golfer in the world?
Oh, I did.
I feel like I'm going to tell my son someday, and he's going to be like, Dad, no.
Who the hell is Luke Donald?
I mean, it's crazy to think about, but, it was these type of courses and his performance in them that got him there. Used to be Pete Dye course. You shrink the fairways. You don't make it too long, and Luke Donald's going to show up in a top 5. So,
very smart golfer, yeah.
And you know what's funny? As I was doing it, I was just like, oh, man, am I going to be talking about Luke Donald? He's made like 1 of 5 cuts this year, 4 or 5 cuts made. The Honda, which honestly, like he plays a lot in Florida, but Honda can be a tough course. So to show up,
it is.
To show up at the field that made me feel pretty good. So I do think, if you're down here, I don't think you have to be down here. But if you are, you could do a lot worse than Luke Donald.
Sure, I think it's now. Give him the course history real quick. That it's just.
I only have the last 5, but so the last 2 years he had 33 and 78, but before that was 2-15. Then I stopped, but I think there's I think he's won at least once.
I'm pretty positive. I'm pretty positive he has 5 top 2 finishes.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I remember before the 78 that everybody was on him, even when he was playing. He was playing terrible golf that year, and everybody was still on him because of the course history.
Yeah, it's amazing, the Luke Donald lock at Harbour Town. It still hasn't gone away.
Well, and Valspar, that's the other place that he always shows up.
Yeah, we didn't get Valspar this year, I don't think. Did we?
That's my local event.
Yeah, I think that's the one that they ended before, or that they called out. No, they were in the middle of the Players.
It was the Players, yeah.
Yeah.
Sad day. All right, sub 7.
All right, I got a couple names, and then I'm just going to talk about one. A couple names. I'm going to go with CT Pan and Siwoo Kim. Those are some Pete Dye specialists. Brian Stewart, Sam Burns, also guys I like. Bronson Burgoon. He was leading stroke gain approach after the second round. The guy I want to talk about is Matthew Naismith. He's a local guy, kind of a rookie on tour. He gained
his name.
Matthew Naismith, 6,600.
I was typing for those on watch. I'm typing it NA.
He's he's a deep dive. He gained 1.5 strokes on the approach, and John and I were discussing that he is a 1 stroke above, 1 stroke gained in windy conditions. So another guy that you can feel safe with down in the 6K range in case the wind picks up, that you can make you a cut. He's
hold on, TK. As safe as you can feel for a guy that doesn't have a picture.
Yeah, true. Yeah, he's a rookie. He's gaining his marks.
I like it.
Yeah,
that's why I love it when I talk golf with you. You're always willing to give me somebody I've never even heard of, and I've been a golfer and been following for a very long time, so that's pretty awesome that you got me someone I'm like, what?
Another local guy. I like the local Southerners.
Hey, I love it. I mean, especially when you do have these specialty courses, I like it. All right, so that wraps up the DK picks. So 1 and done. We are giving a new Lifeline.
Redemption picks.
Redemption time.
These are what. Yeah.
I'm gonna let you go first because I actually have not thought about this. So I'm gonna pick real quick. I'll let you go first.
I'm gonna go with Kevin Kisner.
I like it.
Because I'm also going to bet him.
With the odds. And I'm not going to go too far off of you. I am actually going to use Matt Kuchar this week. I just think that the history, the course fit and everything, I don't necessarily see myself gravitating toward Matt Kuchar in a lot of other events. So this might be one of the last times to use him. So I'm going to do that. Guys, it's been fun. Please, I'm going to put the link at the bottom. PGA this week, after our terrible performance last week, is free again. If you are sucker enough to listen this whole way, it's free.
Now, we put a lot of work into this week, and we're gonna bounce back strong this week. I want everyone to be aboard.
And you know what? The good news is, like, even though Classic was bad, we had a number of members sweating some showdowns. So, you know, there's always a chance, you know, if the picks first 2 days aren't working, that, you know, we can really dial into the stats and get going. So Tim will be in there. Make sure you click join. We'd love to have you guys. Thank you so much for listening. Tim, anything before we go?
Everybody enjoy the week. Golf's back and the sweat is back, and it's what's the best part about it.
And I look forward to seeing you at the top of the millie, Tim. Take care, buddy.
Yeah, me too. See you.